Hey everyone, NDC here, and if you've ever struggled to change the background on a form, you're not alone. This was something that I struggled with for a very long time because a lot of the answers I had was to use the listRowBackground color. And you can see here when we add that, it kind of just removes around the text fields here, but changing this kind of gray background is really tough. So if you want to follow along, this template is in the description below, or you can add this to your own forms. But the solution that I found is to go to the end of the form here. So I'm just going to double click on our form braces, and at the end, add the .scrollContentBackground and set this within the arguments here to be .hidden. Now you'll notice that gray background, it vanishes, poof, it's gone. And you can either do your background with a Z stack as I've shown here, or if we go ahead and comment this off, afterwards we can add a dot background and we can add our color here. So even if we wanted to have this be, green, you'll notice that it adds the background. The thing that I've noticed is this kind of just goes to the view. However, I find this doesn't totally encompass the view, so I would stick to just using a Z stack and then having that Z stack encapsulate the entirety of your view here. So let's go ahead and return that color. Now we still have these kind of spaces around the different elements. That is where I would use those list row background colors. So if we go to our section with the submit button, at the end of it, this is where I would use that list row background, and I would set this to be a color, or you can do color.clear to hide it. So see here, the clear hides it. If you wanted to make this a color, you can customize it as you'd like. Otherwise, the clear will kind of hide it and give it more of a pristine look. Now, currently our form is only taking up about half the screen, but the entire screen is dedicated to this form. We can grab anywhere and start to scroll it. If you want to limit where your scroll is, you can actually use a frame. So again, at the end of our form, and we can do this after our scroll content background hidden, we can add a frame. And from here, we can add a height. And for mine, I wanted to occupy the UI screen and basically only the first half of it. So we're going to do UI screen .main .bounds .height. So currently this would take up the entirety of the screen, and then we're going to divide it by 2. This is going to limit it to half of the screen height. If you only wanted half of the width, you can use the same logic, or you can kind of change your math to limit that area. So now if we try to grab down here, we notice we can no longer scroll it, but it still works in the first half. To make it even more user-friendly, you can add a clip shape so we can know where the form is. And I would use the rounded rectangle personally, a little bit of corner radius. I just love corner radius, to be honest. And then after that, I would add an overlay. And within those brackets, I would have my rounded rectangle once again with the corner radius 20. So it's still within the overlay, but after that corner radius, we'll add a dot stroke. And we can set the color. Let's go ahead and make it black. We'll add a line width as well, and we'll set that to be 1. This is totally optional, but it adds that border around the form. People know where the form is, and now we've reclaimed so much space, we can use that in our view. So super quick video, but I know a lot of people struggle with customizing the background of their forms. If you found this helpful, drop a like, subscribe, and dream big, code bigger, and we'll see you in the next one.